Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new limited edition Puma evoPOWER MB45. Now as you can see, it does come in a special drawer style box. Pull the drawer open and on the inside you can see that they do include a string bag. The string bag is very plain, it's all black in color with black strings, and on the bottom corner of the bag you're going to find some red Puma branding, but other than that it's left completely blank. And then of course inside the box you're going to find the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly and we'll take a closer look at this very interesting signature colorway for Mario Balotelli in the form of the Puma evoPOWER 1. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this particular release. This was a limited edition launch from Puma, only 400 pairs worldwide since that original release, which was a couple of days ago now. These have since sold out, so if you wanted a pair, eBay is going to be your best bet at this point, but expect to pay well over retail with people trying to resell these things for crazy amounts of money that they're not actually worth. So again, 400 pairs worldwide, it is fairly limited. It did come at a premium. I believe these guys retailed for $250 US versus the regular $200 for a pair of Puma evoPOWER 1s. And in today's video, we're going to go over all the details with this shoe as far as the colorway is concerned, because it is quite interesting. But actually, to my surprise, there's a lot of extra kind of unique elements to this variation of the Puma evoPOWER 1 that you won't find on the standard evoPOWER. So we're going to go over all of those details in today's video. If you're interested in them, stick around. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. Before we get into the colorway, which we're going to talk about in detail a little bit later in the video, I want to talk about what this shoe actually is, because looks can be deceiving. When I ordered my pair, I really was just expecting a standard pair of evoPOWER 1s with this Italian flag Mario Balotelli graphic on the surface, but what I received was something completely different. Now, what's interesting about this release, and it's not something that Puma has really voluntarily given out as information, it's kind of been, it was more or less a hidden thing where you really wouldn't know until you held the shoe in your hand, is that this is the exact version of the evoPOWER 1 that Mario Balotelli himself wears. I'm sure you guys know, with big names like Ronaldo and Messi and Balotelli, these big names that are poster boys for their respective brands, they have the ability to get a custom version of the shoe that they are essentially being paid to wear. So with Ronaldo, obviously he has a lower cut dynamic fit collar on his Superfly 4. Who knows what else is different about his shoes, but that's something that you can very easily see. I think it's pretty well known at this point that Messi wears an F50 Adizero in the signature colorways, but in an interesting and unique leather upper variation that obviously is not available to the public. And with Mario Balotelli in this particular situation, again, looks can be deceiving. These may come across as a standard pair of evoPOWER 1s, but when you hold them in your hand and upon closer inspection, we're going to go over all the details here, this is very, very, very far from a standard pair of evoPOWERs. The first thing that really threw me off is when I pulled them out of the box and just felt the upper. This is not Adapt-Lite synthetic, or at least not the same Adapt-Lite synthetic you find on a standard pair of evoPOWERs. So you can see it does have the Adapt-Lite branding right there on both shoes, but it's extremely soft. It's almost melting in my hands. I'm barely putting any pressure here, and it just kind of folds in on itself. It is really, really nice, but it also doesn't have that same kind of stretchy quality as Adapt-Lite synthetic. It's thin, but still has a nice plushness to it. And then of course, all the AccuFoam padding is still there, but the foam itself is, again, much, much, much softer than what you're going to find on a standard pair of evoPOWERs. And as an example, I have a standard pair right here. Obviously, this has a shiny finish, whereas this one has a completely matte finish. You do have your Adapt-Lite synthetic, which is still very soft on the standard variation. No complaints with this shoe whatsoever. It's one of the best ones currently on the market, if you ask me. And the AccuFoam padding, like I mentioned, is just a lot more firm on the standard evoPOWER than what you're going to find on this Mario Balotelli version, or the version that he actually wears. You're also going to notice on the upper that it does not have any actual overlays, and this is partly due to the colorway itself, but you can see the Puma branding is normally an extra piece that is fused on top, as you guys can see. You're also going to notice that this has an external EverFit cage on both the lateral as well as on the medial side, and you're not going to find any of that on this Mario Balotelli shoe, as you guys can see. little bit of stitching right there that more or less lines up with the EverFit cage. But again, it's not there, so just something I wanted to point out. You're also going to notice on the back of the shoe, it does not have that little kind of rubber oval piece that's kind of hollowed out to make for optimal flexibility. In all honesty, it's pretty much the same. There's no extra material there, and the overall cut of the heel counter and shape of the heel counter is also the same. So again, no major difference there. The tongue still has those little memory foam inserts at the top and bottom, so no significant differences there either. But you're also going to notice in the synthetic that the standard evoPOWER 1 has kind of a harder plastic material fused on where the laces are. Because this isn't the same synthetic, you don't have those same hard fused on pieces. It is kind of embossed into the upper, but there's no extra material there. So again, it's not the same synthetic whatsoever, not the same AccuFoam whatsoever, and that to me alone is very, very interesting. But there are more significant differences than just the upper, believe it or not. The heel lining material is completely smooth and extremely padded. You're going to find a lot of padding in this shoe, making for a really nice, comfortable fit. I actually can't wait to try these on just to see how they feel, because like I said, they aren't a standard pair of evoPOWER 1s. And when you move on to the bottom, where you have that extra flexible sole plate, dubbed the gradual stability frame, the first thing that I wanted to do once I noticed the upper is I tried to bend it back. And I noticed immediately, hey, this shoe is a lot stiffer. This appears to be the gradual stability frame, and it actually is. It's the same stud pattern. Obviously, it's clear with a fancier graphic, but if you look at the internal construction of the shoe and you remove the insole, which I've done here on the green pair, it actually has a hard kind of footbed as the base for the sole. And if you look at a standard pair of evoPOWER 1s, which again I have right here, that's one of the design elements, is that it does not have that footbed to allow the shoe to flex backwards. So obviously Mario Balotelli, not a fan of the shoe flexing backwards, so that's why his shoe might look like a pair of evoPOWER 1s, but they won't flex or react like a pair of evoPOWER 1s because it does actually have that stiffener there on the inside. So very, very interesting that, again, his shoes look like regular evoPOWERs, but it does not have the same upper and it does not have those same flexible characteristics that is one of the main marketing points on a standard pair of evoPOWER 1s. And again, I'm not knocking the standard evoPOWER 1 by any means. It's one of my favorite shoes of 2014. I just find it to be particularly interesting that one of the main poster boys for the Puma brand wears an evoPOWER 1 that is very, very different from the actual production version of the shoe. As far as the colorway is concerned, it's a very interesting and detailed color that is supposed to represent Mario Balotelli as a player and as a person. Emphasis on supposed to, because there are some elements and details on this shoe that I think come into question as far as what Puma actually thinks of Mario Balotelli and who Mario Balotelli actually is. So as far as the colorway itself is concerned, I think it's pretty blatantly obvious that this is designed to represent the Italian flag. That is kind of the easiest to recognize element of this colorway, where the left shoe, the lateral side is green, it's split directly down the middle, or you have kind of a white and gray base, and then on the right shoe it's got the white and gray base on the medial side again, with the lateral side being a red and orange color. So up close you can see that of course the shoe does have that nice matte finish, which I personally like. It looks very premium to me. And then you have this pinstriping design that not only looks the part, but it allows them to incorporate the wording on the shoe itself. So on the red pair, you can see the stripes are kind of red and orange. You also have that same color scheme incorporated into the laces. It splits right down the middle of the shoe, 360 degrees. You can see you even have the little split in the tongue, goes through to the insole, through to the heel lining, down the back of the shoe, and then right across the outsole as well. So really went all out to make sure that the shoe is split right down the middle perfectly at all angles. And then of course on the green pair, you have a combination of, like I mentioned, green and yellow in the form of the pinstriping, those same two colors in the laces, which look really good. And then of course the white and gray here on the medial side. You also have the split on the outsole as well, as you guys can see. Now, as far as the actual detailing on the shoe is concerned, they've put a couple of different phrases here, which I thought were very, very interesting. So on the lateral side of both the right and the left shoe, there's actually a sentence. I'm going to read that sentence for you guys in just a second. Up close, it's very, very difficult to read. On camera, it seems to be a little bit more clear, and you guys can attempt to read it for yourself if you want. I'll try to move the shoe around. It's maybe a little bit more easy to see on the red pair than the green pair, but to me in person, it's very, very difficult. And then on the medial side, you're going to find 3 words. The same things are written on both shoes for those that are wondering. It's a little bit easier to see on the white and gray base. But on this white and gray base, the 3 words that are written out say professionalism, endeavor, and humility. I know not everybody speaks English as their first language, so professionalism I think is pretty straightforward. He's a professional soccer player and he's supposed to act like a professional soccer player, so essentially being mature and stuff like that. Something that perhaps is not well associated with Mario Balotelli. Endeavor implies that he tries very hard to achieve a goal, something that at least in recent times or even across his entire career has always been something that's kind of comes into question, where is he really trying all that hard? Because it doesn't always look like he is. And then the last word is humility, which again, being humble, being a kind of a good sport, really just being thankful for what you have and what you're able to achieve. And again, that's another thing that doesn't necessarily come across as a word that you would use to describe Mario Balotelli. Maybe cocky would be a better word, but certainly not humility. So with all 3 of those words kind of taken into consideration, what Puma believes to be the best 3 words to describe Mario Balotelli as a person and as a player, let's read what they wrote in sentence form here on the lateral side of the shoe. And I actually have it written down because it's very difficult to read on the shoe. It says, "I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you." So essentially he's saying he's so good that God sent him to play against you, and this is basically your punishment for sinning across your entire life, which to me is kind of, again, the opposite of humility. That's not really something that somebody who is very, very humble would say, at least in my opinion. I don't know, maybe your opinion is a little bit different, but I want you guys to leave what you guys think of this colorway and how the words and the meaning behind all of these details, how you think they actually describe Mario Balotelli. As far as other little details are concerned on the shoe, you can see here on the lateral side in the white and gray area, in kind of like a clear shiny coating, it does say MB45. MB stands for Mario Balotelli, 45 of course being his number, and you're going to find that on both of the shoes. The heel lining, like I mentioned, does have that split, and it kind of just flows with the same patterns you're going to find on the actual upper. And then the insole is of course fully removable. It also has a split, the MB45 branding, the evoPOWER 1 branding right there, and it actually has a sample sticker. And this is something that I saw and immediately was a little bit thrown off. I thought, oh, maybe I got sent a pair of samples, not part of that 400 pair production run. But that's not actually the case. Every single pair, all 400 pairs, have this sample tag, and considering that this is not a stock pair of evoPOWER 1s, that actually makes sense. So you're going to get this little sticker that is very easily removable. You're probably, if you are planning on wearing these things, not keeping them as a collector's item, you may actually want to remove. But you're going to find a sample tag right there. And then actually on the size tag itself, hopefully I can show you guys, you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, there it is. You can see at the bottom of the size tag, it actually does say sample as well. And like I said, sample generally means pre-production or not in production. It's something that is a one-off. So they're made specifically for Mario Balotelli. This is the exact version or variation or Puma makeup that is supposed to be an evoPOWER 1 that he actually wears. So as far as the colorway is concerned, honestly, I don't think it's anything special as far as looks go, but I like all the details. I don't think they necessarily match or represent Mario Balotelli all that well, other than the fact that it's the Italian flag and he's Italian. But like I said, the words and the meanings, it's cool. But again, if you actually know who Mario Balotelli is as a player, it's something that is more funny rather than true. As far as weight is concerned, given that this is pretty much just a shoe dressed up to look like a pair of evoPOWER 1s, I thought it'd be interesting to see if there is any significant weight difference between this shoe and a standard pair of evoPOWERs. So I have 2 shoes for you today. This is the Balotelli evoPOWER, that's the regular version. Both of these are in brand new condition, and both of these are in the same size, 9.5 US, so it's a very fair comparison. We'll start off with the regular evoPOWER, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at a very lightweight 7.2 ounces. So remember that number. Pull this off the scale, and we'll throw on the Balotelli version, and you can see that these guys weigh in at 9 ounces exactly. So almost 2 ounces more than a standard pair of evoPOWER 1s. I know a lot of people, especially younger kids, they like to make a bigger deal out of their shoes being as lightweight as possible. And that is one of the better features of the standard evoPOWER 1, but I think it's very, very interesting that a professional player, especially of the quality of Mario Balotelli, prefers something with a particular feel, obviously something a little bit more solid given the construction of this shoe versus a standard evoPOWER, over something that's going to be a little bit lighter on his feet. So again, comfort prevails at the end of the day, even with professional players. Of course, Mario Balotelli is just one player. Some players, professional players, might have different opinions and different preferences. But again, I just think it's very, very interesting that this shoe is nowhere near as light as a standard pair of evoPOWER 1s. Alright, so here's a look at the Mario Balotelli evoPOWERs on feet, and I'm sure you guys are all curious as to how these things actually feel. And the answer to that question is not like the regular evoPOWER 1. The shape and overall fit, I would say, is similar to a standard pair of evoPOWERs, but the synthetic upper is a lot different, very, very soft, extremely flexible. Doesn't have that same stretchy quality as the regular evoPOWER, and also the sole plate is significantly stiffer. Of course, it does feature more of a traditional construction as far as the sole plate goes, so in comparison to the regular evoPOWER 1, which is very, very flexible, like I said, these feel a lot more stiff on feet. So very, very different, and in terms of the feel that they're going to provide, it's just not going to be like regular evoPOWERs because they are made to the exact specifications of Mario Balotelli, which is, in my opinion, very, very cool. So like I said, the shape is similar to a regular pair of evoPOWERs. I would say that the toe box maybe does seem a little bit more rounded, but that could also just be to the upper being a different synthetic material. They fit very well, and like I said, similar width-wise. I'm not sure if they based the actual shape of Mario Balotelli's foot on this 400 pair production run that they released to the public. I would doubt not, because they did release it in all kinds of different sizes, and obviously Mario Balotelli only wears one shoe size, so I think they probably just used the base of a regular pair of evoPOWER 1s for this production run, which is no big deal. And as far as the sizing is concerned, I'm wearing a size 9.5 US, which is normally what I wear in the evoPOWER 1, which does run half a size small, and the fit is perfect lengthwise. So if you did manage to get your hands on a pair, or you're looking to get your hands on a pair now, I would strongly recommend going a half size up or going for the same size that you wear in your standard evoPOWER 1s for the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Puma Mario Balotelli evoPOWER. This is just a really interesting release from Puma, if you ask me. I think it's pretty well known at this point, at least amongst soccer cleat enthusiasts, that professional players don't necessarily wear the exact same shoe that you buy off the shelf. But when you see something like this and get a close-up look on how dramatically different this is from the standard evoPOWER 1, I have to say it's a pretty interesting marketing strategy from Puma that I'm not sure if it hurts them or it helps them. I know a lot of people probably will see this video, and let me know down below in the comments if you were considering a pair of evoPOWER 1s and now you know that Balotelli himself doesn't actually wear an evoPOWER 1 at all. Does that deter you from actually buying the evoPOWER 1? Because for me personally, I think the regular evoPOWER is a really, really good shoe, but like I said, their main poster boy for the shoe doesn't wear anything even close to the model that you buy off the shelf. When it says on the CR7 signature colorways of the Nike Mercurial Superfly 4, for example, where it says on the insole made to the exact specifications of Cristiano Ronaldo, that's not actually the case. This shoe is made to the exact specifications of Mario Balotelli, which to me is just really, really cool. And it's pretty awesome to see how much customization he actually does have on the shoes that he wears in games. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment down below, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, leave a like. That would be greatly appreciated. If you guys want to see some high-quality images of this exact pair of Balotelli evoPOWER 1s, check out the review page on my website. There's a link to that down below in the description. Purchasing a pair, you're kind of out of luck. They're sold out at this point. Again, eBay is going to be your best bet if you want to pick a pair up. Other than that, though, subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.